Speaking of underdogs, James, who's a good underdog team so far that you are going to be playing on moving forward here?
Keep an eye on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it sounds crazy to say that, but they have, as an underdog, have been very, very good. They're 6-1 against the spread. Their last 7 games, all as underdogs. Last week they beat the Clippers, Denver. They won at Charlotte. Tonight they just beat Portland, and Cleveland's not a sexy name. It's funny. I'm thinking of the Joakim Noah. It was just Joakim Noah in Chicago. That line when he says, I don't know anyone that ever says we're going on vacation in Cleveland. um, but this team, Evan Mobley, they drafted Evan Mobley out of USC. I watched a lot of him in the Pac-12. The guy erases a lot of interior shots. He's a very good rim protector, and you have him next to Jared Allen. That's 2 7-footers who are really tough to score on. They have Colin Sexton, who could control the game, good with the ball in his hands. And then the bench with Ricky Rubio and Kevin Love, yeah, those guys are past their primes, but you have them coming off the bench, pretty good bench. All in all, look, this isn't a great team, but they're catching 8, 9, 9.5 a lot of nights. And when you combine that with the fact that their defense is good and they're holding teams to a lot under 110 points, getting 8 points, 9 points is very attractive. So keep an eye out for them and their schedule coming up as I'm pulling it up here. Oh, they got Toronto next this weekend. I like that spot. Toronto's offense has been up and down. They don't have a consistent identity yet. They're still trying to figure it out as they've moved on from Kyle Lowry. So keep an eye there. And then they play the Wizards early next week as well. And as surprising and good as the Wizards have been, they have no interior defense whatsoever. They get beat in the paint a ton, and that's a game where matchup-wise, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen can take advantage inside.
Any future picks that you have out there? Anything that you're looking at in the futures market right now?
Yeah, and a team that, if you've been riding our plays, the Miami Heat. I love them. I think they're the best team in the East right now, especially with the Nets without Kyrie and the Bucks with all their injuries. But when it all is said and done, with a fully healthy East, I still see a path where the Heat can come out of here. Just roster-wise, adding Kyle Lowry, adding P.J. Tucker, very, very good key pieces. Then you throw in the fact that P.J. Tucker has a chip on his shoulder that Milwaukee basically let him walk right after he was the difference maker in helping them win the finals. You have Bam and Jimmy that just got swept in a tough year with a short off season coming into the year. This was plus 2,700 coming into the season. It's down now more in the plus 1,600 range. So that tells you how impressive the Heat have been. But that being said, I still think it's a good ticket and it's worth the value. When the Nets get Kyrie back, this is a very unpopular take, but the Heat can beat them. Not because the Heat have a better first three than those guys, but the Heat have an incredible defense. P.J. Tucker, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry, not a lot of teams are going to want to face those 4 guys. And the Nets don't have that type of defense. They got Kyrie, who he doesn't scare you on defense, and the Nets' second unit would get pummeled by Miami's second unit. And any other questions about this Miami Heat team, just look at their spreads, what they've been laying or what they've been catching, and how much they're covering the spread by. It tells you how much the market's been off on them, and it's directly related to last year, them having a down season with a short off season. Everyone's saying Tyler Hero's trash. What happened to this team? Then they got swept by the Bucks, and all of a sudden people forget that 12 months ago they were in the NBA Finals versus the Lakers. You combine that, all the emotion. I love the Heat on this ticket. I wouldn't even bet them to win the East. It's a shorter price, obviously, but it's a significantly shorter price, too much. Bet them to win the finals, and if they get there, then you have hedge opportunities, obviously.
Do you have a play on the Heat for Thursday night?
For Thursday night, the spread's too high. They're laying 7.5 versus the Celtics, and the Celtics, if you bet them at all in the last 7 days, have given you the starting development of an ulcer. They can't hold leads, and they're terrible, and you don't want to bet on them. But 7.5, I'm not looking to lay that with the Heat. Tomorrow's NBA board, unfortunately, is very ugly. There's only 5 games. I don't love it. I would say the Heat team total over is probably a better play. It's going to be in around the 111 range, and those team total overs have been a little bit too low. They've been getting into the 120s and higher the last couple of games.